So we do have a little bit of good news to bring you guys. Saagar just mentioned Shawn Fain and the United Auto Workers, who have been obviously doing this stand-up strike for, I don't even know what the count is, but a number of weeks at this point. And they've been escalating week by week. They actually have a tentative deal with Ford, so one of the big three, with the idea being that if they come to this deal with Ford, which the membership still has to vote on, that'll put pressure on the other two to fall in line and also, come to the table with sufficient concessions to be able to achieve similar results for the membership here. Let's take a listen to what Shawn Fain, and I think he's like the vice president, I don't know, he introduces him, but another UAW leadership member have to say about the deal and its contents.
UAW family, I'm excited and honored to be joined today by Vice President Chuck Browning as we announce a major victory in the stand-up strike. Today, we reached a tentative agreement with Ford. For months, we've said that record profits mean record contracts. And UAW family, our stand-up strike has delivered. What started at 3 plants at midnight on September 15th has become a national movement. We knew we were getting close, but we also knew the companies needed a major push if we were going to make sure we got every penny possible in this agreement. So we took our strike to a new phase and hit the companies with maximum effect.
So when we say historic, we mean it. We have won a 25% general wage increase over the course of this agreement. With COLA, we expect the top wage rate to increase by over 30% to above $40 an hour. Our starting wage rate will rise 68%. For decades, temps at the Big Three have been abused and exploited. Over the life of the contract, temps will see raises of over 150%. Some of our lower tier members at Sterling Axle and Rawsonville will see an immediate 85% raise upon ratification.
So those are some of the key provisions. Just to reiterate here, 25% raise through April of 2028. Starting wages going up by 68% to $28 an hour. Reinstatement of cost of living adjustments, that those had been lost in 2009 when workers helped to bail out the automakers. A right to strike over plant closures. That's actually a big deal. That if a plant is being threatened with closure, they can go out on strike and protest that move. That's a big deal. Abolishing multi-tiers at 2 major plants. Top pay rises to $40 an hour. It's now at $32 an hour. New workers to reach the top wage after 3 years instead of 8. More retirement funding for retirees, those with pensions, and 401ks. So, as I said, membership has to vote on it and see if they think that this is sufficient. But it's also not a surprise to me, Saagar, that Ford was the first one to be able to come to a deal, because the reporting I had seen is that Ford actually had the best relationship with the UAW, and the CEO there had tried to maintain close relations. And so it's not a surprise to me they're the first ones to come, and we'll see what happens at the other 2 automakers. But, these already are huge concessions, huge victory, and I think really validates the strategy and the tactics that Shawn Fain, their brand new president of the UAW, used in order to secure these gains.
Yeah, 25% is nothing to sneeze at, and $40 an hour is good money. I just still think we all have to remember to annualize it, because people forget. At the top line, that's $83,000, $200 a year. Yes, you also receive benefits like healthcare, pension, 401k. So I'm not going to discount that. But on a cash basis, that puts you solidly middle class in America. It puts you in a place where you can afford roughly a $400,000 house, although it's going to take you a while to come up with a down payment. And that's the wage of the top assembly line worker. There's still a 25% bump. So I believe that brings somebody to around $40,000 a year again. You get decent benefits. It's not like they gave them remember the vaunted, 4-day a week? That's not included in the agreement. I always thought, I'm like, this guy's reaching here with $32.
They were shooting for the moon.
Yeah, I get it. So I was like, that's not actually going to happen. But it didn't happen. They agreed to this deal. As you said, let's see. I'm curious what the membership thinks of it. Although, to get cost of living adjustments back when they were suspended in 2009, that's pretty big in itself, because it's not frozen in time. You get the COLA adjustment, and that is really one of the reasons why they have not just suffered like lack of wage inflation, they actually suffered deflation over the last decade. So if it were me, I would take the deal. I think that's a pretty good deal.
Now the other two automakers kind of have a roadmap for like, okay, if we want this to be over, and at this point, this strike is hitting some of their most profitable plants. Like if we want to end this, all right, this is what it would take. That's why there's, more likely than not that there'll be a lot of pressure on them, and they may be able to come to tentative agreement with those two other automakers as well in the near future. Let's hope. The other thing here is, there are a lot of workers across the country, not just auto workers, but also auto workers at Tesla and other, foreign automakers that have plants down south, who are looking at these wages, who are looking at what was able to be secured here and are thinking like, why am I doing the same job for so much less money? So between what the UPS workers were able to secure, between what the actors the writers were able to secure in terms of their deal, there's a number of very clear demonstrations of what you can achieve with a union, with this type of collective bargaining. And so I think that helps to spur and continues to spark an increased interest and increased success throughout labor organizing. So from that perspective, it's also very exciting and much bigger than, not to say just, but much bigger than just this one industry, especially since the American auto industry is just such an iconic part of American life.
Yeah, one good thing is from GM's perspective, they actually just reported their earnings, and their earnings actually rose quarter over quarter. They did project a single quarter 7% drop in profit, but they're still profitable as a company. So they've got the margin, at least right now, to negotiate from that, and now they have the roadmap. So hopefully this does show us that we're coming to an end. Although you don't know, it certainly could continue.
No way to say.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Premium subs and everybody else, we're going to have a separate interview with Daryl Cooper of the Martyr Made podcast. It's going to post later. We just didn't want to include it as part of the main show because we want to get this one out on time. We'll post it as a separate podcast. You guys can look out for that. Obviously, the premiums, you guys will get that first. We'll be on standby should any breaking news or anything happen. But otherwise, we will see you all on Monday.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.